Hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening today. Much appreciated as always. Liam Hartree here with another episode of Presenting Champions. And today I have another very special guest that I'm excited to talk to, and I'm sure all of you will be excited to hear from as well. Today's guest has a very inspirational story, his life story. He is a professional fighter, professional bare knuckle fighter. Today's guest is Don Wilkinson, but there is a lot more to his story than just fighting, guys. There's a lot more lessons here. There's a lot more that he's overcome in life that I think you're all going to find very inspirational and hopefully very beneficial in your own lives, not to mention entertaining as well. So, Dom, I just want to say, big thank you for coming on, mate. Just to get that in there, thank you for making the time.
And thank you. Thanks for the invite, Liam. Definitely, we're going to touch on some good things today. I'd say hopefully inspire some people, help some people through some troubles in life if we can do, and touch base on my career.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said to you at the beginning, we'll get into some deeper side of things now in a moment, but
Yeah,
touching on some of the fighting side of things at first to start this with a bang. Obviously, you compete in bare knuckle boxing or pit fighting as well. There's a difference there, of course. Very tough sport. Now, I want to start with your last fight because it's something a little bit different, with bare knuckle MMA.
yeah,
I think is what they put together. So, can you tell us a little bit about that fight, the rule set, how the fight went down, and just an overview of what happened on the Spartan Cage Wars? That'd be fantastic.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, like Spartan, obviously is well known for the pit fighting, but obviously Ash Spartan, so he decided to branch out and sort of go for the MMA side of things, also like bare knuckle boxing within the cage. And obviously, I seen the advert come up and I just jumped at the chance. Do you know what I mean? So MMA is brutal as it is anyway. UFC, some of the damage gets sustained to people with gloves on. I mean, without gloves, it's just next level stuff, to be honest with you. So I was the first one to jump on the train with that, I think. But yeah, it went. Well, obviously, I didn't win the fight, but I mean, leading up to the fight, I mean, obviously, I thought Shane Woodley's the current British champion in the pit. It was his first time in the cage. I've had a few cage fights before, obviously with gloves at an amateur level, with sort of like 8 ounce gloves. But I mean, the bare knuckle thing, it's brilliant. To be fair, I mean, anybody in the fight world, give it a try. I mean, you won't be let down at all. I mean, the rules are the same as any professional sport. You know what I mean? You can punch, you can elbow, you can knee, you can choke people out. It just adds that extra sort of excitement to the fight. To be fair, so, but but yeah, it was a good day, to be fair. And obviously the promoting Spartan, they're a great promotion. They've got a lot of things going on. It's a very family atmosphere. So me and Shane before the fight, and you know what I mean, we were dancing around together, having fun, and then obviously our time to fight, you get in there and you put everything aside, and it's game time, isn't it? So,
Yeah. Well, it was a fantastic promotion, and it's really something I think can be very big. I think obviously Spartan and the Pit itself, is growing into a massive sport already, and it's already pretty big. But I think it can definitely take the bare knuckle world and the fighting world by storm, and obviously the with the cage as well. And that aspect is just something different. It's almost like going back in time to the Pride days, and things like that. So it's amazing. So well done on taking part of that. Now, I want to just touch on initially what inspired you to actually get involved in bare knuckle boxing in the first place. We'll talk about your upcoming fights now, but with Spartan itself, because I've read that you were supplying them their marquees or something like that on your Facebook. Was that how you first got involved with it, or like when you first got the
no,
idea?
no. So basically, what it was, I mean, obviously, I've not been in the fight game for many years. Like, to be fair, I'd sort of like go through some mental health troubles, which we'll touch on in a minute. But I mean, so this well, so basically, I was sitting down one day thinking I want to get back into fight, and I had a couple of amateur boxing matches last year, just to sort of like dust the cobwebs off, and then and I was looking through YouTube at some fight organisations, and Spartan popped up, and I was like, that's quite an intriguing event there in the hay bales. it's, I'll give that a try. So basically, I got in contact with Christian. I was just expecting a normal fight, to be fair, and obviously the first time we got in the pit, um, I was against Daniel John, the current middleweight champion. I mean, the guy's an absolute animal. Do you know what I mean? he's a very skilled guy in the pit. You know what I mean? He can move around the pit, he can manoeuvre, and obviously for my first pit fight, it was getting offered a world title shot, and who's not going to accept it? To be fair, I mean, well, some people wouldn't accept it because obviously it's bang for bang brutal, and obviously you've got nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. So it's definitely I think it's a quiet taste, to be fair, if you're a fighter. But I thought I'd give it a go anyway. So I did it. I fell in love with it. But, you know.
Yeah. No, it's amazing to get, where the story began because as you say, an acquired taste, bang on. I mean, it is something that not a lot of fighters will take, being in that pit, the smallest arena in combat sports anywhere as well, absolutely nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. So, it is a unique challenge and a very, very, and it makes a very, very exciting fight as well because, people have got nowhere to go. So I remember the first time I saw it on YouTube, I was like, what is this? And as you know, I was the official interviewer for a period of time as well, and came out of that because of work commitments. But I still love the promotion. Christian's a great guy, and he's fab. And it seems like you're on the same page because you've parted ways with them. So you've now got a fight coming up with BFBA as well, as far as I know, coming up on the 4th of June. At the time of this interview, for anyone watching it, it's May. So not long to go now for this fight for BFBA. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you're feeling on the build up to that fight, how you expect it to go, anything you'd like to say about it, really, because it's a big opportunity and it should be a great show again.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously BFBA. I mean, in my eyes, it's probably the best. It's the best bare knuckle boxing organisation in the UK. I mean, obviously there is a lot of competition out there current around the world, but for the UK, definitely, BFBA is definitely up on the top agenda. I like the way it's run. I love the balance between the fighters before and after the fights. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they've got some great guys going on there. They put on a good show. I mean, it's a lively fight. I say there's quite a few Spartans that fight there as well. To be fair, from the past, Andrew Bakewell, who runs it, do you know what I mean? Diamond guy. I've spoken to him a few times. Just inviting. He's a good promoter. He cares about the fighters. You got the opportunity to go down and train with him as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely one on my agenda, and I'm really excited for it. The guy I'm fighting, I'm feeling super confident about the fight. Obviously, coming out of the pit, just knowing what I could take in the way of sort of like taking shots from large opponents, experienced opponents. I just feel like in the ring, obviously, I'm a showcase fighter really. So I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest with you. And best of luck to my opponents. I'm bringing the A game.
Yeah, that's it. Amazing. Well, we're all looking forward to the fight as well. Obviously, it's going to be amazing. I've got no doubt you'll do well, and I'll be supporting you all the way with that personally, as will a lot of other fans around. And as you say, yeah, it's an amazing promotion. It's a promotion on the up and up. BFBA, the signings they're getting and the way they're growing is already pretty big as well. But it's getting bigger. I've had Andrew on this show as well. Great guy, and as you say, he cares about the fighters, and so it's definitely looks like it's on the up and up for you, with your fighting career, in the ring now. So we're all excited for that. That's looking to the future a little bit, because it's like I say, it looks like it's on the up and up. Look into the past a little bit. You've overcome a number of things outside of fighting, outside of the pit, outside of the ring in your life. And as I mentioned to you before, I think the reason for touching on this is not to sort of dwell on any hard times, but more to show people how it's possible to overcome hard times, and you don't have to stay in a dark place or whatever. So can we touch a little bit on some of those things you mentioned about mental health troubles, before you jumped in with Spartan? Can we talk a little bit about that, and also how you sort of pulled yourself out of that place to be, where you are now? That would be awesome to touch on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, so my mental health started. I mean, when I was a young child, ever since I was a young child, I always had this a feeling in my head that I thought I didn't fit in, or I thought I wasn't welcome in the world. That was from a young age. You know what I mean? I as far back as I remember, sort of like from my first thoughts from sort of like 4 years old onwards. I always felt like I had a big depression. I think I had emotionally unstable personality disorders and stuff like that growing up. Obviously, like, as a child, it's a hard thing to deal with because obviously you don't understand your own mind, you don't understand the world. And as a child, you're quite impressionable to obviously to your peers, obviously to like your parents, step parents in my case, or my stepfathers. So I mean, obviously, the stepfather is sort of like from he came into my life at about 11. So I mean, obviously, I wasn't a lonely child, but I mean, obviously, I didn't sort of like socialise that much as a child. So I mean, obviously, my stepfather, he was sort of like I looked at him as sort of like a hero figure. Because obviously, back in those days, he had guns. He was into martial arts. He liked fighting, and obviously, like so they used to take these training days. I was only an 11-year-old kid, and these were like big sort of like fully grown men, big bodybuilders, bouncers, all your stereotypical old-fashioned tough Englishmen.
Yeah.
These take me to training days and stuff like that. Gang up on me, to like beat up on me, like it toughened me up like physically, I think, but mentally, obviously being put into like fight situations with fully grown men when you're an 11-year-old boy to sort of like 14, you don't stand a chance on winning, obviously. So it's sort of like that sparred my mental health a little bit worse as I got older. And then I got involved with like I had drugs and stuff when I was like through my teens, in sort of my late 20s. So obviously that didn't help with matters either. And then obviously I got back into martial arts again, doing it with like proper gyms. I've having a few sort of amateur fights back, like I say, about 20 years ago. And that used to sort of like level my mental health out a bit, give me focus, a bit of direction. But then obviously life happens, more sort of like traumas happen in life. I mean, everyone goes through traumas, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a part of life, it's going to happen. So I mean, like quite a few happened. Obviously we lost a few family members through drugs and etc. And then obviously, so I thought, so I got, it was only about, probably about a year ago, just before I found Spartan, I had a massive breakthrough, with sort of depression, mental health. I mean, like in the past, I mean, I'd taken my life a few times. I mean, like I'd tried to commit suicide. I was in a coma. I had a couple of cardiac arrests. And even though I pulled through that, I mean, obviously, like I had the guilt after that. So like what I put my family through. Obviously, like my own feelings, I let myself down. I'd give up and stuff like that. But so I just thought, there's got to be something better out there. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a strange story. So I found this like the law of attraction and manifesting.
Yeah.
So I started reading into it and researching it. And I thought, I locked myself away, like shut myself off from the world for a few months. And I thought, right, I've got to fix my head, basically. Obviously, going through a lifetime of mental health, it's not nice. It's not a good feeling being depressed all the time. And it's, you know what I mean? You can be whatever you want to be in life, but obviously the world around you sort of like push you into this place that you've got to abide by this, you've got to do this, you've got to do that to be accepted in society. And I live my life like that. Like I live a certain way, and then one day I started reading like a book called The Secret by Rhonda Rhodes. And my grandma used to advise it to me all the time when I was a youngster, because obviously mental health run rapidly through our family. And she said, "I'll just read this. It'll help you." And I was like, "No, it's all hocus pocus. It's all bullshit. This, do you know what I mean? It's like it's not going to work. It's a fairy tale sort of thing." So I thought, but then I started reading it anyway. I started researching it myself, and I started doing a few things. And obviously, I started writing down a few things like what I want to do in my life, what I want to be, where I want to get to. That I want to sort of like help people not feel like I did as a child, as an adult. Just sort of like, so I've thought, to do this, I've got to be able to help myself first. So as I say, I started writing things down, what I wanted to achieve. Small things at first, sort of like I just want to sort of like the bond back with my family again. Be happy, like not do drugs, like be on a stable path. So I achieved this, and then I thought, right, this is working. So I'm having positive thoughts now, so I'm attracting positive things. Whereas in the past, I was thinking negative things, and I was attracting a negative life. Like, so I started attracting positive things, and I thought, right, let's step up a bit. Let's start attracting what I really want to be. So I thought, all right, I want to be a world champion in boxing, MMA, or something like this. So I wrote down on a piece of paper. I think it was last July. Last July, I wrote down a list of things I wanted to do. So I wanted to become obviously a shot at a world title. I want to get myself sort of like financially stable, stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously, as you can see, I wrote down I want to be a world champion, a few things down there, and I live by this. And all of a sudden, obviously, so I got in contact with Christian, and he said, "Well, there's a world title shot there." So I was like, "Hey, hang on a minute, is this right?" But I swear by it these days. You know, make a goal, achieve it. Don't get me wrong, it won't come to you just by doing nothing. You've got to work for it, like work towards it and do stuff. But it will change your life. Do you know what I mean? Now, and this past year, I don't suffer with mental health anymore. I don't really get blips of mental health. I'm happy all the time. So like, I project happiness out to people, because I mean, I think people should be happy in life. Do you know what I mean? Society is, it's a tough place this day and age. So everybody's just got to like get on and be happy in life. And the only way to be happy is be happy yourself. So you can achieve anything, and you can overcome. I think you can overcome any problems that you've got within yourself, or sometimes even physical problems. You can overcome them, I think, with enough positive thinking and with the right paths. Like anything's achievable, and you can be what you want. And it doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what other people do. What if they try to bring you down? The only person that matters in your life is yourself. Like, because at the end of the day, when you come into the world, you've got yourself. When you go out of the world, you've got yourself. So be happy, man. You know what I mean?
It is a powerful message, though. You know, it's a really, really, really powerful message that you shared there. The way you've turned it around, by the way, is amazing. So I just got to say that just from me to you is absolutely
Yeah,
amazing. You know? And I sort of got the vibe of that from your social media and what you post. But hearing the full story is absolutely incredible. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it shows people what you can do. You know, from negative to positive. And yeah, people's thoughts is such a powerful thing that people don't even realize. You know, people are going through every day, a lot of people, and they're thinking this and they're thinking that, and it's like, if you knew the power of it, you wouldn't think negative ever again. You know what I mean? If you knew
oh,
how much.
but I mean, all the negative in my life. I mean, obviously, like I had bad influences in my life, obviously, but I mean, like, but I was projecting it on myself in a way. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking these negative things, and negative things are happening. Let's take a relationship, for example. If you're insecure in a relationship and you're paranoid, or you're upset that your partner's going to cheat on you, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And that's a negative thing. So just don't think like that, and it's not going to happen, because you're projecting out that negative vibe, and negative things happen to negative people, like, and positive things happen to positive people. So, and I'm nothing special, but anyone can change. Like, do you know what I mean? Anyone can be what you want to be. That's a massive message that like everybody needs to do. Do you know what I mean? It's like just like happiness. Like happiness brings so much. I mean, with happiness, I mean, like, do you know what I mean? I've been touching back on sort of like Spartan. I mean, I've had my own event business for years. It's been successful. It's been non-successful, but it's all down to my own doing. And obviously, like with events, I meet so many different people. I've had a blessed life. I mean, I've been in places that people couldn't imagine. I've done events that people want, like a once in a lifetime things they want to go to, like Glastonbury Festival. I built that for 20 years in a row. I've been to Thailand, or at fight camps and stuff like that, just all through just doing events and stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? It's life is a blessing, like, do you know what I mean? So you gotta appreciate it and like be grateful for everything in life, I think. So, and that's the key. Gratitude, happiness, and spread the happiness. Yeah, don't be a better person.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's powerful because something just to highlight there for people listening or watching as well. One of the most powerful things you can learn, right, is so many people think, oh, you've got to get the result first to be happy. So in other words, you've got to get what you want. Whereas actually, what this teaches people and what they'll learn if they read The Secret and that sort of stuff is you start from the happy place first, and then it just comes to you like a magnet. You start with the gratitude, you start with the positive emotions. I do exactly the same thing, by the way. In my own life, I've written lists of a lot of these things, and they come around in weird ways. Like I remember probably 5-6 years ago, maybe longer. Like I was trying to meet Floyd Mayweather because he was one of the people I really admired in boxing. And
Yeah,
I had an event booked with him, and then it cancelled, and it didn't happen or whatever. And I thought, okay, that's it. But I always kept it in the back of my mind, kept working on it, and then about 2 years ago, funny enough, just before the pandemic hit, I actually got to meet him, work with him, take his photos and all that sort of stuff at an event, near where I live in Wales. And that's
yeah,
just one. Over time, I've done it so many times where you write a goal, and then obviously you have to put the work in. But if you've
mm,
got it really clear in your mind, it will come. You just got to put the work in, keep the faith, stay positive on the journey to it, and it will arrive. And it's it's so simple, but it's so powerful, and people just don't realize that these things are within their grasp in life.
No,
They
no.
can have what they want, and and it's powerful. I mean, the mind, when you get into it and you get into like the subconscious mind, and you get into how these things really work, and how our beliefs positively or negatively happen. A lot of it comes from childhood and all this. I had the same thing. I remember coming across The Secret when I was quite young.
Yeah,
I also came across Napoleon Hill. I don't know if you've ever heard of him,
yeah,
but yeah, some of that stuff, and it was really, it just changes your whole worldview. And I'd recommend anyone out there as well listening to this to check it out, because it really can, it really will blow your mind. So
I've
that's
definitely. But I mean, obviously, there's a warning out there as well. There is scammers out there, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's But I mean, obviously, like just read the books, read the black and white. You don't have to pay for anything. I didn't pay for anything to get to this point in my life. Do you know what I mean? I say I've been to a lot like touching back on the mental health thing. I've been psychiatrists that diagnose you, say this is incurable, you need tablets. And then like with obviously with the law of attraction and stuff, people like that trying to do the same things. Oh, you need to do this course, you need to buy this CD, you need to do that. You don't need to do any of that. Everything, all the power is in yourself. Like, do you know what I mean?
comes from within. I'm really glad you mentioned that as well, because yeah, I mean, there's great material out there with the books. I definitely recommend reading those, or listening to it, or whatever's best. But yeah, you're right. You are right. I mean, it's an inside to the outside process. It starts in
Yeah,
someone's heart and soul, and then it comes out from there. And you have to be willing, sort of within yourself, to go through the process. And that's yeah, that's really good to highlight. That is, and it's powerful for people. I know I've said that before, but honestly, because as you say, a lot of people feel that they're limited, and they feel that they've got barriers that they can't break. But
yeah,
when you can not only break that, but just shatter it, and sort of go all the way through. It is life changing. So obviously the fact you've done that from drugs and suicide attempts and all that stuff, to being happy, being a professional fighter, having your own business, it's just, what I mean. It's amazing. And you're just so humble about it as well. You're very humble about it, but it really is amazing nonetheless. So I'm really glad
yeah. I
you did.
said, I mean, you've got to be humble. Do you know what I mean? We're all people, yeah. We're all the same, yeah. There's nobody better than anybody else in the world. We're all the same, yeah. Some people have got skills, some people do things, but you can do it as well. Anyone can do it. You can do anything you want to do. You just put your mind to it, and things will come. Yeah, don't get wrong. It can be hard. The journey can be hard, yeah, and it is a hard journey. Like sometimes, especially in the fight game. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, you can't just sit there and think, oh, I'm gonna fight. You've got to put action in with the fighting. Do you know what I mean? You've got to train and stuff like that. You can't just think I'm Mike Tyson, wake up and go and fight 10 men. It's not gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to put the work in. You do have to put the work in. I mean, mentally and physically, for anything you've got to take action to sort of like, to get anything. But anything is achievable. Like, and do you know what I mean? Like, I think the biggest achievement for me, obviously, like the mental health thing. Do you know what I mean? Just being able to think clearly for myself, know what I want, and like have confidence in myself is. Do you know what I mean? That's a big achievement than anything I'll ever achieve. I think, to be fair. So it's just like in a piece, yeah.
Inner peace, man. Honestly something money can't buy. It's the most valuable thing in the world. Inner peace. Peace in the mind, peace in the heart and soul is something
Yeah,
that people chase for their whole lives, and a lot of people don't ever even get. But again, it is there within reach. So I love it. I absolutely love it, champ. Well, it's been really good to share your story. So far, with like how you turned it around, and how
yeah,
into the fight game. I'm sure we've only touched on it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to your life, but that's what's exciting, because there's a lot more to come. And as your profile builds in the fight game, you can obviously share this, and help more people. And as when you're sort of a few more fights down the line, I'm happy
definitely.
to do like a part two with this as well. Because I definitely think there's going to be some big fights out there on the horizon. I mean, the fact you jumped in the deep end with like a world title fight in like your first fight with Spartan and stuff. So much respect for that, man. So that's a sign of things to come, and I definitely think you'll win titles, and go a long way with it. So when that starts to happen, we'll do a part two with this, And,
Oh,
and
definitely, no doubt about it, Liam. I'm going to be world champion, like for BKB. I'll do it for BFBA, and I'll do BKFC. I'll go to any other place. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to be up there. Do you know what I mean? Like, not for me, but for everybody else. You know, just show anything's possible. So, 100%.
well, you keep spreading the message, keep spreading the love, and just keep showing people what's possible, champ. Because that's it's amazing what you represent. I want to say a big thank you for your time coming on here as well. Last thing, actually, before we go, is obviously your fans and your supporters out there. People who watch you fight and things for
Yeah.
the future. Got to give them a mention because the sport would be nothing without them. Any sort of final words for your fans and your supporters?
Yeah. I've got a couple of people to mention. To be fair, I mean, obviously my fans, yeah. Without you, sort of like backing me, being there, supporting me, the message you send me, like obviously my fans inspire me as well. Do you know what I mean? They give me so much confidence, and obviously like the message you send are beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Win or lose the fight, they're always there, and they're always supporting me. I mean, you're not going to get by in this world if you haven't got fans, you haven't got supporters. Do you know what I mean? And I love the fact that I'm there to be an inspiration for them. Do you know what I mean? And they appreciate what I do. So I mean, do you know what I mean? When you fight game, you put your life on your line, but you do it for the fans. You don't do it for yourself, like so. But yeah, I mean, big respect to all my fans. I love you all. Yeah, massive heart. but
Amazing.
yeah, I like to thank also my new fight team as well. I mean, obviously, like you can't do anything without a good team behind you. So all my sponsors, you know who you are. I mean, I advertise you every day. Do you know what I mean? Massive appreciation for that. The new sponsors I've got on board, KK Fightwear. They're great. They make all my fight clothes now. Do you know what I mean? They sponsor me. They give me massive help and support with sort of like all my clothing, all my fight gear that I need. So, do you know, big shout out to KK Fightwear. And then a couple of the companies that I like to mention as well. There's a new company up on the rise. It's BKM Partners. It's run by Smudger and Adam Newby. Do you know what I mean? What they're doing with fighters. I mean, they're building fighters' profiles. They're lining them up some amazing fights, but just their whole attitude behind things as well. Do you know what I mean? They want people to be sort of like, they want fighters to obviously be like we all are. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't have to have the hostility for a fight. You can be friends before a fight. There's no problem in that. And do you know, massive shout out to them. I love what they're doing with the BKB world, yeah. So
Yeah, they're good people. I mean, Smudger, he's an absolute legend anyway. He's got a heart of gold, but he's a great person. And funny enough, obviously, he talks about a lot of the same stuff with, subconscious and manifestation. And when I had him on this show, we talked about that. But yeah, Adam sends me messages every so often with, some of the work he's doing and who he's speaking to and all this. And I think that's a company on the up and up. But definitely, with your fans, your sponsors, it's wonderful to give them a shout out. I'd also say, just as the last thing to everyone watching this as well, anyone who's hearing about Dom's story for the first time, sorry, talking about you in third person for a minute, he's very accessible on social media as well. So anyone, if this is like your first exposure to hearing about him, obviously he's a fighter on the up and up, very contactable on social media. He's on Facebook, he's on Instagram as well. So everyone who wants to get in touch with him and wants to have a chat about any of this stuff further, you can do at those places as well.
definitely.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you want to contact me at any point, do you know what I mean? I'll talk to anyone. Do you know what I mean? If I can guide anyone or help anyone or anything, yeah, just don't be shy. Inbox me. I'll always answer back. It might take time. Do you know what I mean? Inbox going through the roof at the moment, but I'll definitely get back to you. I mean, 100%. Do you know what I mean? If I can help you out in your life, or do you know what I mean? Any little thing, if you need a chat, give me a shout.
Yeah, amazing. Well, champ, thank you again for your time. Thank you again as well for being so open and sharing everything that you shared with us all today, and obviously myself, but all the fans around the world as well. Much appreciated and truly inspirational. And I definitely look forward to seeing your journey on the up and up from here. We support you all the way.
Only ways up, Liam. Only ways up. And thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been waiting to speak to you for quite a while now. Yeah. So.
It's good to get there in the end. It's been an absolute pleasure for myself too. And then we'll get it out there to the world and help as many people with it as we possibly can. That's the goal.
Definitely. Yeah. We're all the same. We're all humans.
yeah, that's it. All right then, champ. Well, you have a great evening. Enjoy it. Thanks again, and I'll be in touch. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.